So the most striking debate or intervention we've had recently, I think, is from the Scottish Fiscal Commission, which has pointed at what Scotland is currently spending on its public services, and some of that free stuff that we've referenced, and the gap between that and what it brings in revenue, and how that gap's likely to grow over the next few years. So there are going to have to be some dramatic changes to things like the provision of free higher education, the provision of free prescriptions, the provision of free personal care, the new child payment that the Scottish Government have introduced. Something in that vein is going to have to give, and that's going to be in the entry of the next government.
And so if that stuff does have to give, how do you think that's going to play for First Minister Anas Sarwar coming in, being the First Minister to cut free higher education or cut free prescriptions? I mean, that's not going to go... I mean, it might be the right thing to do, but it's not going to go down well.
It's going to be incredibly difficult for whoever comes into office in 2026, because a lot of these very difficult things have been kicked down the road by the current administration in the box marked too difficult. I don't think that puts Anas off. I think, if anything, he'll actually relish the opportunity to do what Labour people do with power, which is to fundamentally reform public services and advance the role of the state in our lives in a meaningful and positive way. So I think it's only really Labour politicians that can do some of that hard stuff at these key moments. It's the only thing we've ever done when we've been given the opportunity to govern. He just has to get over that hurdle first. It's obviously not going to be easy. You know, Miss Alex Salmond, she said, you know, the rocks will melt in the sun before tuition fees will come back in Scotland. But already, if you do listen or read between the lines of what Michael Mann says, a prominent Labour MSP is driving much of the policy development. That question is now a question in terms of how Labour is going to approach its manifesto process for 2026. Does it want to keep free tuition, or does it want to keep free school meals? If you're talking about tackling poverty and inequality, we all know that the way to prioritise money is in those early years. So that again makes you look at higher education and tertiary education, or what happens in the senior years of school, and ask some fundamental questions about how you redistribute that public spending that you have.